Trying to reach the green from here, shooter?
That's not possible, sir.
I beg to differ. Happy Gilmore accomplished that feat no more than an hour ago.
Well, moron, good for Happy Gilmore. Oh my God!
What up, fellas? It's your boy, AT, aka Melvin Milquetoast, and guess what, boys? The League in That is back. That's right, leaves are dropping, trades are popping, and fantasy football is in full swing.
That's right, Austin. It's been a busy few weeks, and the league is really heating up. Now, before we jump into our recap of Rivalry Week, let's take a look back at weeks 1 through 5 and talk about some of the highlights then. And man, oh man, do we have a doozy. That's right, for the first time in league history, a Whitlow has a good fantasy football team. And if you haven't guessed by now, that's you, Penn. Like, really good. So good, in fact, that he's undefeated. Unreal. Way to go, Penn boy.
Atta babe. On the opposite end of the spectrum is your boy, Melvin Milquetoast, at 0-6. Not a good start, been a rough one. But for the second year in a row, I'm leading the league in points against, which certainly doesn't help. But honestly, my team started off pretty whack. At this point, though, I've basically flipped my entire roster, so hopefully things start to look up for old Milky sometime soon.
Well, when you're 0-6, it can't get much worse.
Shut your face, chode.
Now, in other news, this year has also had a record-setting week. Now, in week 5, we had two of our players in the league beat out the league record for most points scored in a week. Christian and Penn each scored just under 200 points, but in the end, Christian edged out Penn to be the new record holder in that category. Sorry, Blue Steel. Yay!
Corey, I am actually acutely aware of this, as I was the lucky recipient of Christian's record-setting week. One other fun fact, Will Fuller was Christian's top scorer in that game, and Fuller's big night was the best overall fantasy performance since 2013. Lucky me!
Sucks to suck, Austin. Nice work, Christian. Now, let's get started on recapping, finally, Rivalry Week. Now, up first, we got Penn versus Brad, aka Breeze in the Trap versus Dr. OBGYN. This was a barn burner. Just kidding. A pretty solid showing for both teams, though, in the end. And ultimately, Penn was the one that walked away with the dub, increasing his record to 6-0. Like I said, undefeated. Shout out to you, Penn. Pretty strong run in 2019 so far.
Easily the favorite to win it all at this point, but you never know in fantasy. Up next, we have everyone's favorite rivalry, Travis versus Christian, aka King Travis, aka versus Bronco Baby Backpack. Now, this was one heck of a game and was decided by a mere 7 points. Travis definitely fought hard, but at the end of the day, Christian slipped some poison into the King's goblet and watched him die like Arya did House Frey. So, for now, the King's throne belongs to Christian.
Next up, we've got Tan Boy versus Air Boy, aka Daleshire versus Los Sicarios, aka Daleshire versus I Like Butts, I'm stupid. Now, Tanner had an uncharacteristically solid performance this week, uncharacteristically both for this season and his entire career in our league. Air's roster of retirees and those who have died and gone before us didn't manage to break 100 points. This rivalry week was pretty lopsided, and Tanner wins by 30.
Up next, we have Rudnack versus Corey, aka Mr. Steal Yo Girl versus Girly Beelines, aka the turd of the week. Now, this game was about as ugly as it gets. Rudnack scored mediocre 99 points, but it honestly didn't matter because Corey really took a dump in this one, scoring a league low 79 points. Chode status achieved, turd level maximized. Speaking of turds, my matchup with Jonah, aka Melvin Milquetoast versus Fun Sports, was not much better. After a couple decent showings in the weeks prior, I'd hoped that I'd finally be able to contend in a game, but unfortunately, Jonah's team had the third highest point total of the week, and let's just say that mine did not. Now, unfortunately, this means I still haven't beaten Jonah since we started the rivalry matchups, and that was 2017, y'all. 0-5 against him in that time. It's absurd. I have absolutely no idea how this is even possible.
Sucks to suck, Austin. Ha ha ha. I laugh at you. Boom, roasted. Let's move on and take a look at this week's game of the week. Yay! Love doing that. Bryson versus Walsh, aka Prison Mike versus Lisa's tampon tip. It's worse when you say it out loud. I don't know if I'll ever get used to that, Walsh, and I'm truly sorry. Yikes. Second of all, this was a really close game, and ultimately was decided by less than 4 points. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Luckily for Bryson, Tom Brady scored a couple of rushing touchdowns. Am I reading that right? Or a couple of rushing Tom Brady? And ended up being the difference of all people. Just picture it. The ageless wonder TB12 scores a pair of rushing scores. Almost like the ageless sack of an old man with his nuts dragging on the floor. That is how I imagine Tom Brady running. Wow. Seriously though, Tom Brady with the double up on the rushing touchdowns, what are the odds? But that is what happens in fantasy. And unfortunately for Walsh, it meant a loss for him. But luckily enough for Bryson, that's his first ever rivalry week game and his first ever rivalry week win. That's so hard to say. Regardless, it all ends the same. Walsh running home crying to his mom.
Well, and that just about does it, boys. So good luck to none of you in week 7. And as always, you can suck it. Woo, woo!